Hi, and welcome to Unboxed Politics, the political review show. So here's the deal. We review clips of politicians and other political figures and give them ratings. We review them on content, presentation, and like a general vibe. And the ratings we give them is F to S, F meaning worst, S meaning top tier. If you enjoy the show, please like and subscribe. Also, go to patreon.com/TheBinPodcast and become a patron, where you can get all the bin content, like new episodes of Speaking from the Center and Team Nade. Now let's get to the episode. All right.
Rolling?
When? Oh, we're rolling? Are we rolling?
God, are you new here?
Give him the horn.
Jesus.
Give him the horn.
Actually, the horn's a good sound cue for editing, so give me the horn.
I was going to, if you would hush.
Hi, and welcome to another episode. Of Unboxed Politics. This episode, we're going to be talking about Ron DeSantis and his
nuts.
Ron D's nuts. This is an interview he did with NBC about Florida's education reform, where they're like slavery was cool for everyone. So I'm sure Ron has some good answers for this.
I knew it.
He's got our backs.
Prove to be true. So can we just put this to bed so you don't have to be asked about this a million more times? Yes or no, did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Whoever puts their hand on the Bible on January 20th every 4 years is the winner. And I don't think the election, and I've pointed out in that same quote, and I've said this from the very beginning, when they changed the rules for COVID, I think that was wrong. I think some of those changes were unconstitutional. When they do mass mail ballots, I think that's wrong. I think ballot harvesting is wrong. I think the Zuckerbucks were wrong. I think the fact that the FBI was working with Facebook and these other tech companies to censor the Hunter Biden story was wrong. And so I don't think it was the perfect election. I remember after a lot of the media was saying this is the most secure election in history. How could it be the most secure with those millions of mail ballots going out? At the same time, after the election, they were talking about Maduro stealing votes on the voting machines or whatever, and none of those theories proved to be true. But here's the issue that I think is important for Republican voters to think about. Why did we have all those mail votes? Because of Trump turned the government over to Fauci. They embraced lockdowns. They did the CARES Act, which funded mail-in ballots across the country. Donald Trump signed that bill that funded the mail ballots that all the Republicans have been so concerned about. And also with the censorship of the Hunter Biden. That was Donald Trump's FBI that was working with that. He didn't have control over his own government. So me as the nominee, we will not let them run circles around us. If there is Florida, we ban ballot harvesting, right? I think that's what you should do. If there is ballot harvesting that's allowed in like Nevada, we are going to do it too. We're not going to fight with one hand tied behind our backs. And so I think all of those issues were very problematic. But at the end of the day, you know, Donald Trump helped facilitate that whole set of circumstances.
Okay, but respectfully, you did not clearly answer that question. And if you can't give a yes or no on whether or not Trump lost, then how can...
Of course he lost.
Trump lost the 2020 election.
Of course.
Okay.
Joe Biden's the president. But the issue is, I think what people in the media and elsewhere, they want to act like somehow this was just like the perfect election. And when you have mass ballot harvesting, Zuckerberg put hundreds of millions of dollars into nonprofits to send money to election offices and basically weaponize the election offices. That is not the way you conduct elections. And so I don't think it was a...
Florida's new standards for teaching African American history cause a lot of controversy. You have made education a really big part of your platform, both as governor and as a presidential candidate. So let's just talk about your take on these new standards. And the one sentence that's received the most backlash, I'll just read it to you. Instruction includes how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. So let's just be clear. You believe this is an important topic that should be taught in schools?
So that means they developed skills in spite of slavery, not because of slavery. It was them showing resourcefulness and then using those skills once slavery ended. And the people that put those standards together were scholars of African American history. These were not political standards. Florida eliminated critical race theory because it's ideology, and we want education, not indoctrination. When we did that, a lot of people were saying, oh, you don't want to teach about African American history. The bill actually required more robust standards. So that's how that working group came into being. So they had copious standards. I mean, just really thorough. And we're one of only 14 or 15 states that even has African American history standards. That was written by primarily African Americans themselves who were scholars. And they've been very clear. They are not saying that slavery was a positive good at all. And if you read the entire standards, it's very clear that they're showing that this was a grave injustice, and it contradicted the founding principles of our country.
But to my question, I mean, you've been so involved in Florida education standards. I mean, do you believe that this is important to teach?
We've been involved in education, not indoctrination. Those standards were not political at all. The legislature didn't dictate any of that. Governor's office didn't dictate anything of that. These guys worked in a very professional manner. They produced those standards. There was public comment. This was all done in the public. They were being praised for what they did because of how thorough it was. And then Kamala Harris decided to come down and demagogue it and basically lie about it. And these guys who wrote it, they've defended what they've done. And so as governor, I'm going to stand by them. I am not going to let people lie about things that are going on in Florida. That's become a cottage industry. We have got to stop acting in bad faith in this country. There's no way you can read that whole list of standards and come to any other conclusion that they are accurately depicting the injustice of slavery, but they're also depicting the resourcefulness of people who overcame great obstacles, and not just with respect to slavery. During the American Revolution, they're actually showing the black founding fathers. A lot of people don't talk about that. And so I think that those scholars that did that, many of whom were black themselves, I think that they deserve to be defended on that.
But do you see how some folks might find that kind of language offensive? I mean, Tim Scott, who was a fellow Republican, said what slavery was about was separating families, about mutilating humans, even raping their wives. It was devastating. So I would hope that every person in our country, and certainly running for president, would appreciate that. People have bad days, he added. Sometimes they regret what they say, and we should ask them to clarify their positions.
Don't take the side of Kamala Harris against the state of Florida. Don't indulge those lies. Those are not true.
What is Kamala Harris lying about?
She's saying that those standards that were developed by African American history scholars are somehow saying slavery was a good thing. That's false. That is not what they said. That is not what those standards said. And incidentally, she endorsed an advanced placement African American history course that had the same exact provision in it just a few months ago, and somehow that was an issue. There's scholars, there's scholars affiliated with the Liberal 1619 Project who have identified similar situations. And I think what the head of our working group, who was the former chairman of the U.S. Civil Rights Commission, he's pointed out people like Booker T. Washington and how they conceived of their life's journey. So it is not in any way, saying anything positive about the institution. It is the standards as a whole are clearly showing, what it is. And so we've got to get beyond demagoguing people. We've got to get beyond the lies on all this stuff. We are doing education. We've put people in place to develop a very strong set of standards that most states are not teaching any of this stuff. We've made African American history a priority, and we're going to continue to do that. But we are going to speak the truth, and we're going to fight back. I mean, it's wrong. If this was a different state and the governor wasn't running for president, no one would have said anything about that. They're trying to whip it up just to be able to launch political attacks against me. But I take offense because these people worked really hard on it. They were not doing anything out of the ordinary.
Well, I think you're right. If you weren't running for office, this wouldn't be in the spotlight. But you've also put education in the spotlight, rightfully so, because it's an important issue. But to your point that there are similar standards in the AP African American Studies course, I looked at both. I read your standards and I read those as well. The line that you're talking about, it says, in some areas there were distinct roles separating domestic and agricultural laborers, although enslaved persons could be, it's in addition to agricultural work, enslaved people learned specialized skills, trades, and worked as painters, carpenters, tailors, musicians, healers in North and the South. Once free, African Americans used these skills to provide for themselves and others. I think the issue people take with is the word benefit and the overall framing of the Florida standards where, looking at the AP course versus yours, the word enslaver appears dozens of times in the AP course. It doesn't appear once in your standards, and the criticism that I've seen beyond just that one sentence is the general framing of a slightly more positive light.
No, that's not true. I mean, there's all the gory details are in all of those standards, and in fact, since I've been governor, we've added to what type of African American history has been taught. For example, we have mandatory instruction on the Election Day riots, the Ocoee Election Day riots in 1920. When I became governor, one of my first acts of office was to pardon the Groveland Four, and the reason why we did that is because they got railroaded through an unjust legal system. And so we've recognized this throughout all of Florida history and American history, and there's not been any ambiguity about it. This is all...
I'm sure I'll get this eventually. Hi everyone, this is the mid-roll. This is what we like to call a mid-roll, where I do ads for things, and if you want to do an ad with us, well, there's an email, I'm sure. And you should go to patreon.com/TheBinPodcast, where you can become a patron and subscribe at various levels to get things like bonus content and maybe Q&As. I don't know what's up there, but become a patron on the bin. You'll get all sorts of stuff. And like and subscribe on YouTube. And comment, but be nice in the comments. And back to the show. The words that he spoke. Bueller?
Bueller, yeah.
Bueller?
A little more talking. Talk us up a little bit more there, Tim. You just kind of said...
Oh. Ron DeSantis. The words that he spoke. He talked about how, maybe Republicans should have fought more in the 2020 election when they almost caused they did try an insurrection. And then he said that slaves, during the slavery times, they were learning job skills and they were acquiring skills for future jobs that they might have.
It was more like a commune/trade school. Like it's
Trade
really
school,
painted, like the liberals really painted in a poor light, but it was really a learning environment. More
the
than
internships of the past.
The other thing he said too was if I had been in another state and not running for president, nobody would have said anything about what I said.
Yeah.
Someone would have.
Right? It's like, what the fuck, dude? Smack.
You guys are only complaining because...
Yeah.
You guys are only complaining because I'm running for president and I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that because I'm pretty.
So, the words that he spoke from his mouth.
Drivel, diarrhea.
So I feel conflicted because he did say Trump lost. He still put a but after it.
He did.
Which I don't like.
He likes big butts.
But he did actually say he lost.
But
after being pressed
the reason
twice.
he said Trump lost, though, he didn't really agree that Trump lost the election. He did say Trump lost because Biden put his hand on the Bible on that day. And
he got
The
there
election
first.
was still fucky for
right.
whatever reason.
So, yeah.
Biden from the top rope.
Yeah, he threw Trump over the top rope. He got the briefcase.
And then tripped on the Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with like C. I mean, he said the right thing eventually with the Trump stuff, but he fumbled through the slavery stuff really badly.
Yeah.
Like, he did not have an answer for that shit, except for, well, we take Black history into account, just not the way that people want us to.
We do it the way we want.
I think he
We
wants
don't
it.
have the
I
woke
think
agenda.
I think he likes it that way,
I think he likes it that way too.
and he doesn't
Dude.
really want to have to explain that he likes it that way.
I gotta go give him a failing grade, dude, a D for what he said. I'd go lower, but I think he can say worse stuff. So I'm gonna wait to reserve the F for what he says it might be even worse. But
At
I'm at a
least-
D because
at
he's
least-
just ugly.
At least he doesn't attempt to smile. Have you ever seen him attempt to smile? It's horrifying. Yeah.
Like this, Tim.
Yeah, he smiles like a robot would smile.
Intergalactic,
Tax is bad.
I'm gonna give him a C. It's not great. It's not the worst things he ever said.
Like, I agree with you, Ollie. It would be a D for me. I am also bumping him to a C just because he did say the words Trump lost. But like that, it's not a lot of the saving grace. It's just like
Yeah.
he tripped on the cliff, but held on with a pinky. So
Mikey?
D.
D.
Two
D.
D's and two C's.
Desantis gets a D from me.
I think we're gonna have to average that to like a D, I guess.
Mikey
Ds and
giving
two
the
Cs?
D to D's nuts.
All right.
D's nuts.
So where the fuck were we? Oh yeah, delivery.
He's a D.
How did he's a D. How did these nuts deliver the words he said?
Not well.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was no pop. There was no. He was cowered in a corner trying to back his way out of something he had said previously.
Kind of
He's
like
very
Plato,
very defensive.
like Plato
Very-
that got left out overnight.
Yeah.
You can't really play with it, but it doesn't really move, and it doesn't. You can't really clean
Well,
it up either. It's just there. Lives
The
there
first
now.
part, I got to say, he was moving pretty good in the first part because he was trying to squirm his way out of saying, "Yeah, Trump lost." He squirmed his way pretty well there, I think.
Well, he is a
He
lawyer.
just
He's a jag, right?
slimy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he
he
was a
was-
jag lawyer. Yeah.
Even though
Yeah,
it makes
it's-
it sound like he served in combat, which
He
did not.
makes it sound like he is fucking Top Gun. Like
Yeah,
he is
yeah.
Maverick with the
Yeah.
way he talks about his career.
I was in the military.
All right. Presentation. Ron DeSantis. He's got the no tie look going on.
Yeah.
The top button's not buttoned. He's wearing a nice jacket, some nice pants.
Casual Florida History Month.
Yeah, this is
But
a man
his-
who has air conditioning.
Yeah,
He's
his
wearing a
hair-
good suit and whatnot, but why is he sitting like that in that fucking chair?
What's with these shitty chairs?
Yeah, where
that
are
too.
they?
What's with those fucking shitty chairs? And they don't.
They
Even,
have
they're
to
not
be in
even
some,
sitting in
like,
the same
heritage
chair. You
museum.
notice that? Those
Yeah.
are two different chairs.
Oh no, you know what? It's lighting, Ollie.
What? No, there's no metal bar on the chair that she's sitting in across the top of the back.
Yeah, there is.
You think? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well,
They're the same. It's just the lighting.
okay.
So I'm gonna give him like a C. Like he's not dressed terribly.
Yeah, I could give him this. Like I'd actually give him a B. He doesn't look.
His
bad.
hair's pretty nice.
Right.
Yeah, they got a good
He's
color
dressed
on
in a
there.
night suit. He's
Sitting on the other
fairly
shots.
relaxed.
There we
right?
go. Oh, there's a
So-
wider shot.
That's pushing for that.
Well, yes, they are. They've
I'd
done
be
it in
even tempted to
California,
give him a
they've done it
B,
in other
honestly.
states.
They have
Yeah.
not instituted.
I'm giving him a B.
I'll give him a B
So-
on the way he looks, on his appearance.
It's crisp.
There we go.
Ooh, right there. Right there.
Abortions
We're
happen at 21 weeks or higher. There's
No,
no
right.
evidence of
When I
Democrats
go to
pushing
where
for
that
But there are
thumbnail
states
is,
that
there's
have
no
their
video there.
life protections throughout the country,
Oh.
all the way up
Like,
really
what the
until
fuck?
the moment of birth in some instances, which I think is infanticide.
Well,
It is
actually,
not-
I gotta
Oh.
push back on you on that because that's a misrepresentation.
You know, overall, because I think the presentation, yeah, it's his video, but it's his background too. All right, he's responsible for this. Worst setup ever. You got the damn church.
Yeah.
You got the church extended meeting, fucking bonus chairs that you pull out.
You have a
just in case
John
of an
Deere
em-
tractor behind her.
That's
Yeah,
why I
like,
was
what
just
is
going to say that's a
they're at
track
some
John Deere
museum-
lawnmower
They're
right
at
there.
some museum. Why don't you just go to a conference room so you can be heard and seen? What's with all the caper? You're fucking it all up. We can't tell what's going on.
I'll give him a B. Gets a B.
I'm at a B. I mean, I understand the background's a bit distracting. There's a big red tractor there. It's
Yeah.
it's themed though. It's kind of themed. He's in a barn.
Mikey,
Right.
what's your letter?
Look at that face.
Oh, he looks like a sad puppy in that one.
Sad
He's so
puppies
sad.
get D's.
All right.
These nuts.
Mark, what was your grade?
I also did B. So I think
Okay.
we can...
Yeah, I think he's going to get a B on that one. Finally, how does Ron DeSantis, D's nuts, make you feel?
This is the best the Republicans had to offer to fight Trump. It's a sad day.
It is.
Yeah, look how sad he is. He's so sad that he lost. Oh,
Nobody
poor little
voted for
Ronnie, he
me.
lost.
Little
Do you want
D's
a
nuts
treat?
didn't get any votes.
Will a treat make you feel better?
He was whiny. But he wasn't like bitchy or anything. He was just whiny and trying to. No, I didn't mean what. Please don't take offense to what I said, because I meant what I said, but it made me look like an ass. So please don't take it that way.
Seemed
Yeah, I
really
think,
defensive.
I think he's going to get a C for vibes. Like, he's not
Yeah.
utterly gross like Trump or Shapiro or anything like that, but he doesn't make me feel good. I don't feel good about Ron. I don't feel anything about Ron DeSantis.
Well,
He doesn't make me feel.
Yeah.
I hopefully this is his decline out of politics, and he just goes away at some.
Or he's the governor of
relatively
Florida
soon point in time.
forever.
Maybe, but he shouldn't even attempt to run in 28.
The king of Florida.
I mean, isn't a lot of Florida racist, and he's their king?
Kinda.
Oh, okay.
Kinda. Yeah.
So
much.
when they want to change the curriculum, and he's like, well, I don't know what they want to change it to. You know what the hell's going on?
Mikey, how does DeSantis make you feel? Is it D?
That's an F.
F.
That's an F.
All right. So a C.
We're on the
Ollie,
curve.
what was yours?
I'm a D.
Mark?
C.
All right, C, D, C, F. He's probably going to average like a fucking D
Yeah.
on that one.
All
All right,
throw
so
the curve, Mikey.
I
yeah.
don't like him.
I didn't know
Throwing out
that
Fs.
you guys are gonna rate him saying, "Hey, slavery wasn't so bad after all." So fucking highly. I didn't know I was
What?
gonna be the outlier on that. Way to take your eye off the ball there, guys. I'm glad we got your scores in.
I'm sorry. G. Goddamn.
All right.
No,
The white-
y'all good.
The white guilt in me says F.
No, it's too late now. Take your eye off the ball.
I
need
gave
to
him a
do
D,
some
Mikey. I was right
reparations
there.
All right. Well, now, now that
Wow.
3 out of 4 of us are racist,
Hey,
Say, oh, you think
don't
you
let
about
me in
that?
there.
You think
I
it's a
failed
game?
him. I failed him. I failed him. Come on now.
We're all going to hell.
that's,
He wasn't doing
that's the
shit
end
for his
of,
job.
that's the end of this episode of Unboxed Politics. So if you want to call us,
KO.
yeah. If you want to call us racist on Patreon, go to patreon.com/TheBinPodcast. Become a patron and comment in the threads. Watch our other content that's less racist. And
20% less racism.
Oh, we're all about to go watch some Roland Martin as punishment for the next half an hour. I got him, y'all. Don't worry about it.
Like and subscribe on the YouTubes. Leave comments, but be nice in the comments.
Be nice to each other.
Oh no.
That's right.
And we'll
You guys can't
yeah.
say that out loud.
Like, sub.
We'll see you next time on Unboxed Politics. Please don't hurt us, Mikey.